Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and coming up on the Raiders Report today, the perfect 6 free agents Klint Kubiak and the Silver and Black should consider signing in 2026 free agency. The Raiders have the second most money in salary cap space per over the cap and per Spotrac, and we have lots of needs on this football team. I will probably do some perfect free agent targets once we name a defensive coordinator on the defensive side of the ball. But since Kubiak is an offensive-minded guy, and he's going to be the one calling plays, I really wanted to just focus on quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, offensive tackle, and interior offensive lineman. The cool part about this show, the Raiders have enough money to sign every single one of my perfect free agents. Now, if you think that the Silver and Black, Tom Brady, John Spytek, I'm looking at you, Mark Davis, said that you guys are going to be really kind of fronting this operation with Kubiak to make sure that we have a outstanding offseason. If you believe that we're freaking Kubiak, and if you believe in this organization, because damn it, man, 2026 does feel like our year already. If you believe that the Raiders are going to crush free agency, and you want to party with me, Chugs, Reed, and the entire Chat Sports team, hit that subscribe button, because there's not another person on the planet that will keep you up to date more around free agency than my team here at the Raiders Report. So let's talk about some of these perfect free agents for Kubiak. There is a quarterback, there is a running back, there is a wide receiver. And I want to start first here at the quarterback position, because Geno Smith's going to be gone. Aiden O'Connell is on the roster. Then you have to be able to find somebody else, because, yes, I do anticipate that the Raiders go out and they draft Fernando Mendoza. So here's going to be the name that I decide to go with. I'm going to go with Case Keenum. He is a free agent this upcoming season. He's got 11 years of NFL experience. And the perfect quarterback to sign for Kubiak, I'm not saying Case Keenum's going to be the starting quarterback. If you're going to sign a quarterback this offseason, you got to make sure that he's cheap. And Case Keenum is cheap. I would say right now the projected market for him is somewhere around $2, maybe $3 million. So you know Aiden O'Connell's on your roster. Let's say he's your quarterback 2. You're bringing Case Keenum. He can be your quarterback 3. He also has ties to Kubiak. Threw for a career high 3,890 yards in 2018. Also had 18 touchdowns, 15 interceptions that season. And again, Case isn't anything that we're going to get all crazy about, but because he was on the Bears this past year, I think that matters to Tom Brady. He got to learn underneath Ben Johnson, the guy that Brady wanted a lot last year. Gary Kubiak signed Case Keenum, Clint's dad, back in 2012 as an undrafted free agent out of Houston. And that Kubiak family, they got a lot of Houston ties. Case Keenum, a lot of Houston ties. He also has worked with Gary and Clint. And at 37 years old, I think it's important that you can bring in a player coach. I know a lot of times people always throw out the name Derek Carr. If you want a cheap person that can play and understand the Kubiak system, that will be a player coach, I just think that Case Keenum is that person to keep in mind, because Geno's gone. Kenny Pickett's a free agent. He's gone. And you can't only have Aiden O'Connell and Fernando Mendoza. So because you're going to draft a quarterback, I like the idea of signing a veteran that everybody knows is just a player coach. So the perfect quarterback for Clint in free agency, I'm going to say it's Case Keenum. Let's now go to the running back position. The star running back, he dapped up Kubiak, and I can't wait to see what Jeanty ends up doing this season. But you got to replace Raheem Mostert. You got to replace Zamir White. You got Dylan Laube, Chris Collier as well. There's not a lot of names on here that get me excited. And just like I talked about the quarterbacks, I could see the Raiders not only signing a running back in free agency, I could see them drafting one as well, because he's going to use, and when I say he, I mean Klint Kubiak, is going to use a 2 running back set like he's done his entire career. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to sign Tyler Algier. He played for the Atlanta Falcons this past season, and I think it'd be a really solid RB2 behind Jeanty. His Spotrac market value is somewhere around $2.5 million, so it's not going to break the bank, and I need somebody that I know is reliable. Tyler Algier is reliable. Like, he is probably one of the best, most underappreciated RB2s in the National Football League. I don't really think he does anything sexy, but I don't need sexy for my backup running back from Jeanty. I need a guy that I know is going to go out there and not put the football on the ground, is solid in the red zone. 20 total touchdowns in 4 seasons. Dude had 8 touchdowns last season in Atlanta, and it's the running style. Kubiak is going to go with a very zone blocking heavy scheme. And when you have somebody like Algier that can really be that thumper to give Ashton Jeanty that little bit of a breather, that's important. On top of that, I want Jeanty to be fresh in December and January, hopefully February, right? And I hope that Algier can help him do that. So you know that he's going to use that 2 running back system. And the fact that he's never fumbled the football in 737 touches. I watched Dylan Lowry put the ball on the field all the time. I watched Zamir White put the ball on the field all the time. If you want to have a upgrade button for a running back that's actually good, imagine Zamir White. Upgrade button. That's Tyler Algier. And I know what Algier can bring to the table, and I know that he's probably willing to take on that RB2 role because he did such a good job of it in Atlanta behind Bijan Robinson. What do y'all think down below? This will be the pinned comment on today's show. Obviously, we're looking at a lot of offensive pieces today because Klint Kubiak is an offensive-minded head coach. I'm going to give you my answer on who I think is the perfect free agent target for our brand-new head coach. Before I reveal that, you're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break. While that ad is playing, I want you to let it play. It helps us out a lot. Go down, let me know who the perfect free agent is that the Raiders should sign. A little bit of a spoiler alert here. You're going to hear me talk a little bit more about Tyler Linderbaum, but I am a believer in the physicality and everything that this guy brings to the table. You know, Kubiak at his press conference said that he wants a gritty football team. Go get yourself Tyler Linderbaum. Put him on the offensive line. You're going to get yourself a gritty football team. So we talked about quarterback. We talked about running back. Now let's look at wide receiver because it is very important that the Raiders upgrade that wide receiver position to not only help Fernando Mendoza, but to help the entire offense from top to bottom because no disrespect to Trey Tucker and Jack Besh and everybody else on this team, I think this might be the worst wide receiver room in the National Football League. Tyler Lockett's gone. Alex Bachman's gone. Dante Thornton Jr. is not even close to being able to produce. Shedrick Jackson, maybe you get a little bit out of him. But if we could turn Trey Tucker into a wide receiver 2, turn Jack Besh into a wide receiver 3, that instantly makes this room a lot better. So the number 1 wide receiver that is perfect for Klint Kubiak and the Las Vegas Raiders, it's Alec Pierce, wide receiver from the Colts. You need a veteran. When you have that many young pieces, and Pierce really ain't that old here, man. He's like 26 years old. But when you have the amount of young pieces that the Raiders do, again, even at the tight end position, Mendoza's going to have to lean on some older players from time to time. When you're really, really young, that can scare you a little bit. But also the fact that he's a phenomenal run blocker. And yeah, the Spotrac market value at $20.3 million. $20.3 million for Alec Pierce is such a good deal based on his age, based on the fit in our offense. And I know the Kubiak system isn't identical and isn't the same, but it's very similar to the offense that they've been running in Indy. Like the way that Indianapolis used Jonathan Taylor run first, I think you're going to see that a lot with Ashton Jeanty. And Pierce was very successful in that. He had over 47 catches, over 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns this past season. Also, one of the things that I believe that Mendoza does such a good job with, back shoulder throws. And Pierce, with his size and his physicality, does a really good job of boxing guys out, and he can go make that back shoulder throw, which is going to be clutch down the field, going to be clutch in the red zone. He's missed only 3 games in his career, and at 26 years old, you have the opportunity to build such a young core. Alec Pierce, Trey Tucker, Jack Besh, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, Ashton Jeanty. Every player that I just mentioned, Fernando Mendoza, would be 26 years or younger. That sounds like a team to build with a young, innovative, offensive-minded head coach. So we talked about quarterback, running back, wide receiver. Coming up here next on the show, we're going to look at a tight end. And you know what's really cool? This guy used to play for the Las Vegas Raiders. And I would love to be able to welcome him back. And I know the nation would welcome him back with wide open arms. When I come home from work, I walk home. I like to give my wife a hug with wide open arms. I can instantly tell, and she knows when I use Mando and when I don't use Mando, because when I don't use it, I get hit with an Ashton Jeanty stiff arm like, dude, you freaking stink. And here's the cool part. Valentine's Day, it's right here, man. Some men master BO with sense. Mando men, Get the job done right. Don't mask it, Mando it. It's available in retailers near you. Or you can head to shopmando.com because for a limited time, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use code chat at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. Mando helps me get ready for my date night with my wife. Whole body deodorant, because I'll tell you this, I sweat literally everywhere. And if there's a chance that I could get lucky, well, I want to make sure that I literally smell great everywhere, if you know what I mean. My wife's favorite deodorant from Mando is their bourbon leather. I would say it's got hints of tobacco, vanilla, leather smell. I love it. It works for the pits, the packages, and feet for 72 hours of protection. So if you want to try America's #1 whole body deodorant formula right now, you can. And how can you do it? You can find them in Walmart, Target, and other retailers across the country. For the best deals, go to shopmando.com. Use code chat at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. That's shopmando.com. Please support our show. Tell them that we sent you. Mando's got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to long-lasting freshness. Mando, shout out to you for sponsoring the show. And for those of you that do not know, you can always find that link down in the comments, down in the description on today's show, because I use Mando for my pits. Also, you could probably use it on your tight end, which is where we're going next here for our Kubiak Perfect free agent targets. And you got to look at what the Raiders have at tight end. You know you got Brock Bowers. You know you got Michael Mayer. Also, Albert O down there actually does have ties with Kubiak from their time together in 2022 with the Denver Broncos. So essentially what I'm looking for is I'm looking for an Ian Thomas replacement. The other good part about Albert O, he can block. So the more and more homework I've done on the Kubiak offense, I could really see the Raiders using a lot of 3 tight end sets. And if I add another tight end, I want him to not only be able to block, but he needs to be able to catch the football. Because if you want to use a 3 tight end set for a blocker, put Albert O out there. If you want to go a 3 tight end set with a guy who's a little bit more reliable in the catching game, well then, let's go with Foster Moreau, Australian 4, tight end 3 for the Raiders. He did miss most of the 2025 season with a knee injury, so I do think that you're going to be able to get him on a cheap contract. Spotrac has his market value at $2.6 million. Because we need a reliable tight end 3, that makes sense. Also, he played 3 seasons with the Silver and Black. Love to have you back, Foster. Played 3 years in New Orleans. But the reason why I think that he's perfect for Kubiak is because if I'm Foster Moreau, I actually think I would like the opportunity to go play for Clinton again, because he had a career year with them, 32 catches, most touchdowns he's ever had in his career, 5 touchdowns, 413 yards. The other reason why I want to add Foster is because he wore number 18 at LSU. And one of the things that Clint said at his press conference was I want guys that want to play football, and I want guys that want to compete, and I want high-level character players. And let's face the facts. If you're going to bring in a tight end 3, you need to not only be reliable on the field, but I need to know that I can count on you in that locker room, because we got to get this thing going in the right direction. So for those of you that do not know the importance of wearing 18 at LSU, the number 18 jersey at LSU is a prestigious tradition symbolizing leadership, character, and excellence, awarded annually to a player who best embodies the spirit of the team. Originating in 2003 with quarterback Matt Mock, it signifies someone who leads both on and off the field, representing the highest standards of the program. That's the type of player we need to bring into this locker room to get this thing going in the right direction. Now, I know a lot of y'all were probably watching this video more for the wide receiver standpoint and the offensive line. So let's go spend some money now in the trenches, because, man, oh, man, do we need to fix it. If the Raiders are unconfident in DJ Glaze, if the Raiders are unconfident in Charles Grant, I don't know if you're going to be able to sign both offensive tackle and interior offensive linemen. You might have to choose one or the other. But my point is, you can't come away, in my opinion, the Raiders cannot fail. You better get one of these next 2 players that I'm talking about here, because if you don't come home with either Braden Smith or, again, spoiler alert, Tyler Linderbaum, I'll sit here and I'll say you failed this offseason. I don't care what it costs. Give him a blank check, because you got to invest in Mendoza. You got to invest in Ashton Jeanty. You got to invest in Brock Bowers. And Braden Smith is the top right tackle on the market with 105 starts underneath his belt. The market value, according to Spotrac, $13.5 million. And yes, it's a lot of money, but you're not only spending that money on your right tackle, you're spending that money on your future quarterback. The other reason why I think he's perfect is because he is a strong run blocker, which is good fit in a Kubiak offense because you know he's going to run the rock a lot. Also, similar offense in Indy. So if he had similar success in Indy, I think that's going to translate a lot easier here to the silver and black. But Smith instantly makes your offensive line better. He does. Instantly does it. And if you feel like one of your third rounders, like in DJ Glaze, Charles Grant, or Caleb Rogers, need a little bit more time to marinate, let them marinate for a little bit longer. And then you bring in Braden Smith, who makes your team ASAP Rocky better. That sounds like a great plan to me. Now, let's go to the interior offensive line. And you already know where I'm going with this one. It's Tyler Linderbaum. If I could spend $20 million on a center, I would do it. If I could spend $22, $23 million, I'm going to tell you, I would do it. And I would do it only because you're investing in all of your other young assets that you have. You put him at center. You put JPJ next to him. And with that physical running style that you're going to be able to bring to the table, you're going to get the most out of Jeanty. If you want Jeanty to be around 15 rushing touchdowns, to be over 1,500 yards, averaging 5 yards per carry, because when you look at a lot of the next-gen analytics, Ashton Jeanty was one of the best running backs in the National Football League last season. The problem is he got hit behind the line of scrimmage, and he had to make so many guys miss all the flipping time. But what makes Linderbaum such a good fit in Kubiak's offense is he is an elite run blocker. And he's never had a grade on PFF lower than 78.7 PFF run blocking grade. So when you combine Linderbaum and JPJ, you put those two on your interior, that's a dominating presence. Also, JPJ, former wrestler, Tyler Linderbaum. Again, growing up, my dad used to always say, you don't F with wrestlers and you don't F with farmers. When JPJ and Tyler Linderbaum get their hands on you, they move you in ways that a lot of other guys don't get moved around. If you want to create massive running lanes for Jeanty, Linderbaum's a hell of a guy to do it. He also excels in zone schemes because of his athletic ability. Linderbaum had a very good combine, and he's a hell of a center coming from Iowa. Growing up in Central PA, you got to be a tough mother effer to wrestle in Pennsylvania, especially near Penn State. You got to be a tough mother effer to grow up in Iowa and wrestle in that state. Tyler Linderbaum and JPJ are two tough mother effers that I want blocking for Ashton Jeanty. So here are my top 6 perfect free agent targets for brand new Raiders head coach Klint Kubiak. Cheap quarterback, Case Keenum. Good RB2, Tyler Algier. Go get your guy at number 1 in Alec Pierce. Foss Moreau, hell of a tight end 3. And then Braden Smith and Tyler Linderbaum to figure out and help out the best way we can get this offensive line. Because all these players, you're getting the most out of your investments. Brock Bowers, Ashton Jeanty, and Fernando Mendoza. And if you agree with this list and you made it this far in the video, drop me a like and tell me down below you're a real one.